So particularly for today, we'll be looking at how can we construct absolute constructions and what does it mean by absolute constructions. Okay, another term for it will be called pet constructions, right? So we'll dive into that. And then later on, if we have extra time, then we will spend maybe 1/3 of the lesson on current affairs. And if we have extra time, I'll give you a bit of time to craft out the compo today. I think we should have enough time for that. Okay, I realized that none of you actually submitted your essay. I think I've shared my email with you. Okay, so I know, Galvin, you attempted the questions, but you did not, you did attempt the assignment. But as for the part on the compo, I think you've also not submitted. Yeah, but I do enjoy reading your responses for the current affairs. Okay, so just to, I'm just going to provide you with my email again. Okay, because I understand sometimes you're not able to submit your essays through the student platform on the 88 Tuition website. Okay, so if you need to, you can always type and submit it as like a Word document or what into the email. Okay, so I've just shared my email address, yeah? Okay, I will not go through class rules. I think both of you are very aware by now. So in terms of absolute construction, okay, as mentioned, we are really just narrowing down to sentences, sentence construction. Typically, absolute construction starts with either a noun or a noun phrase, okay? And it will have a participle, ed or ing word that comes behind it. Basically, it's the verb. And then sometimes it might not have any participle at all. So later on, we'll give you some examples. Okay, so basically, absolute constructions will help you to provide additional details. Okay, whether or not you're writing a narrative text, whether or not you're writing an expository text, it's still possible to do absolute construction for most of the sentences. Okay, yeah. So generally, it helps to provide additional details. Same thing, I think we do need to show you some examples first before you're able to understand why constructing absolute constructions can help you increase or provide additional details to that. Okay, so as mentioned, for absolute constructions, it is not a complete sentence. It's basically either a clause or a phrase. Okay, it always starts with either a noun or a noun phrase. So these words that are underlined, okay, are actually examples of your nouns or noun phrase. So these, okay, are your noun phrase. Okay, hence is actually your noun. Yeah, and so what comes after your nouns and your noun phrase? We will have your ing and ed. Okay, we have your verb usually. So all these are your verb, either in continuous tense or in actually this one is having been completed. This is considered present participle continuous. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so the next one, hands on her hips. Now this one is a little bit special. Actually, on is a preposition, so this is actually a prepositional phrase. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, so flailing in the air. Okay, so these are just additional information. Yeah. And then having been completed, this is present participle continuous tense. Okay. So sentences with absolute constructions can actually add a stylish lilt to your writing. So there are a few purpose or rather functions. It can add a stylish lilt. It can give readers a little bit more information. Okay, so these are the reasons why we want to reconstruct our sentences. Most of the time, I think at secondary school level, you shouldn't be giving too many simple sentences already. I know that when you're when you were in primary school, a lot of your sentences are actually simple sentences. Okay, so at secondary school level, they'll be looking at your ability to construct like complex sentences, compound sentences. Okay, so yeah, so that's that. Okay, now next one. His heart was thumping when he woke. So these are the original sentences. It's simple sentence. His heart was thumping when he woke up with an unexplained dread. Okay, so over here, it's actually a simple sentence because his heart is the subject. Verb, object, and then this one is just an additional clause to give additional information. This is actually called a complement in terms of sentence structure. So generally, simple sentences comes in the form of subject, verb, object. Okay, now when you rearrange and use absolute construction, so absolute construction always starts with a noun phrase, right? So the noun phrase is his heart. Okay, his heart is actually a noun phrase. Why is it called a noun phrase? Because it's more than one word. So the noun is heart, and then it comes with a pronoun his. So his heart is actually a noun phrase. Thumping, ing, continuous tense. So his heart thumping is actually what we call an absolute construction. Okay, so when we rearrange it in this manner, actually from a simple sentence, this is a simple sentence, we are making it into a complex sentence now. So there is a variety in terms of your sentences, and it doesn't sound so monotonous when all the sentence types are the same. Okay, so you can change it to, he woke up with an unexplained dread, his heart thumping. Okay, now next one. After his illness was cured, he quit his job, packed his bags, and traveled around the world. Okay, so again, this entire sentence is actually a simple sentence, right? Because this one is a complement. He is the subject, quit his job. Quit his job is a verb. Okay, so we will then change it into an absolute construction as well. His illness is actually the noun phrase. Okay, his illness and then cured is the verb. So we are putting the absolute construction at the beginning now. His illness cured. He quit his job, packed his bags, and traveled around the world. Okay, so this one is actually considered a compound sentence. Why is it a compound sentence? Okay, because his illness cured can be a complete sentence on its own. So basically, it's made up of two independent clauses. When a sentence is made up of two independent clauses, it's actually a compound sentence. Compound sentence means we put two complete sentences together and put them in as one sentence. That's a compound sentence. Okay, but my main idea is that then you will have a variety of sentences. You don't just have simple sentences. Okay. Okay, now let's take a look at the third example. The exams were over. They celebrated over a meal. So this one is actually two simple sentences together. Okay, the exams is considered noun phrase. Okay, so this one is considered your absolute construction. Now, this is a simple sentences. The exams were over, simple. They celebrated over a meal, simple. Okay, so the example on the left is actually considered two simple sentences together. So the exams over They celebrated over a meal, right? Next one, the dog's teeth flashed as it pounced on the intruder. The dog's teeth flashed. So you can change it to its teeth flashing. So its teeth is a noun phrase because its is actually a possessive pronoun. Teeth, of course, is a noun, right? Teeth is a noun. Flashing is a verb. Okay, so changing this to absolute construction, it's teeth flashing, the dog pounced on the intruder. Yeah? Okay, next one. Okay, now on this next slide, it's trying to tell us that actually we can put absolute constructions either at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of a sentence. Okay, so here are some examples. His eyes smutting from the smoke. So some of you might ask me, what is the meaning of smutting? Smutting doesn't mean the word, the adjective smut, yeah? Smutting basically means that it's somehow like a burning sensation. Okay, so it's a burning, sharp, stinging sensation. Okay, so I'm just going to write the meaning here. Okay, so it's a sensation of feeling sharp, stinging pain. His eyes smutting from the smoke. Okay, so again, his eyes is the noun phrase, smutting is the verb, and all these are complement. So you can always put an absolute construction at the beginning, right? His eyes smutting from the smoke. She stumbled out of the burning room. Okay, or you can put it in the middle, right? She introduce the character first. His eyes smutting from the smoke, stumbled out of the burning room. Okay, or you can also put it at the back. She stumbled out of the burning room, his eyes smutting from the smoke. So again, all these are actually compound sentences. Okay, now the next one, his body writhing in pain, G sank to the ground. Okay, so his body writhing means you are feeling a little bit squirmish, like, you know, like a worm. You actually crouch forward. So it's like squirming, okay? In pain, G sank to the ground. Or you can also introduce the character first. G, his body writhing in pain. This one, I think there's a typo error, huh? So need to be careful, okay? I'll just cancel this word because it's a typo. His body writhing in pain sank to the ground. Or G sank to the ground, his body writhing in pain. Okay? So usually if you notice, the commas are there to help you to identify, or rather to set off the absolute constructions in a sentence. Okay, so punctuations are important, yeah? You do need to make sure you have this comma to differentiate. Okay? Okay, so how do we construct absolute constructions? So let's say if you have a simple sentence, I think sometimes it's easy to create or construct a simple sentence. Okay, so let's take a look at this example here. The hikers continued up the mountain. Okay, and in terms of writing, you might just want to elaborate a bit more and expand on this simple sentence. Okay, so how do we expand on this simple sentence? You might want to think of like ideas, like maybe you want to give the reason why they continued. Okay, so probably because their hunger was satisfied. Okay, maybe you want to give more information about the hikers, or maybe you want to give them more information about the journey up the mountain. So once you have these ideas, you can try to convert them. Okay, these are the ideas. Their hunger was satisfied. Foreheads glistening with perspiration. Long and arduous climb beckoned them. Okay, so